Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about something that has me absolutely buzzing with excitement as we count down to BTS's comeback with their 5th full album ARIRANG dropping on March 20th, which is now just 1 month away. With the reunion so close, I think it's the perfect time to look back at what JUNGKOOK and Jimin achieved during their solo eras and examine the incredible Spotify dominance that proves BTS's power isn't just about the group dynamic, it's about 7 individually exceptional artists whose combined strength is absolutely unstoppable. The numbers we're going to discuss today aren't just impressive statistics, they're proof that even when BTS members operate separately, they're still operating at a level that most artists never reach in their entire careers. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that like, drop a comment telling me how excited you are for ARIRANG, and let's dive into this amazing story of individual excellence that makes the upcoming reunion even more meaningful. Alright, so before we get into the specific numbers and achievements, I want to set the context for why looking back at JUNGKOOK and Jimin's solo era success matters so much right now, especially as we're on the verge of the group comeback. When BTS announced their hiatus in June 2022 to focus on individual projects, there was this narrative in some parts of the media and even among some music industry observers that BTS's success was primarily about the group synergy, the perfect storm of 7 people together, and that individually they might not have the same impact or reach. That narrative has been absolutely demolished by what happened during the solo era, and the Spotify numbers we're going to discuss today are concrete, undeniable proof that each member of BTS, and specifically JUNGKOOK and Jimin as we're focusing on today, possesses individual star power that rivals or exceeds the biggest global artists in the world. This isn't just important for understanding their past achievements, it's crucial for understanding why the ARIRANG comeback is going to be such a massive event. When you take 7 individuals who have each proven they can dominate globally on their own and you bring them back together, the potential is absolutely explosive. Let's start with JUNGKOOK and what he achieved with his solo work, particularly his single 7 featuring Latto that was released in July 2023. This song didn't just do well, it absolutely dominated global music in a way that few songs ever do. By the end of 2023, 7 had accumulated 2.76 billion streams on Spotify, making it the most streamed song of the entire year. Think about that for a moment. In a year where literally thousands of songs were released by artists from every country, every genre, every major label and independent artist, JUNGKOOK's 7 was the one that people around the world chose to listen to more than any other. That's not a fluke, that's not just fan support. That's genuine global appeal and cultural impact at the highest possible level. What makes this achievement even more remarkable is who JUNGKOOK surpassed to claim that top spot. The second most streamed song of 2023 was Flowers by Miley Cyrus, which accumulated over 2.6 billion streams. Now, Miley Cyrus is obviously a massive global superstar with decades of career experience, name recognition across multiple generations, and the full backing of the Western music industry infrastructure. Flowers was everywhere in 2023, it was unavoidable, it was on every radio station, every playlist, every TV show. And yet JUNGKOOK, a Korean artist singing primarily in English which isn't his native language, releasing music from a position where he didn't have decades of established Western market presence, still managed to accumulate more streams than Miley's massive hit. This wasn't just a victory for JUNGKOOK personally, it was a statement about how the global music landscape has fundamentally changed, about how talent and appeal can transcend traditional geographic and cultural boundaries, about how K-pop artists and specifically BTS members are now genuinely competing at the very top tier of global pop music. But the 7 achievement goes even deeper than just being the most streamed song of 2023. The track reached number 69 on Spotify's all-time most streamed songs chart. Let me put that in perspective for you. Spotify has been tracking streaming data for years, encompassing literally millions of songs from the entire history of recorded music that's available on the platform. For 7 to crack the top 100 of all time is extraordinary, but to reach number 69 specifically is a historic achievement for an Asian artist. This isn't just about one year's success, this is about creating a song that has genuine longevity and staying power, that continues to be discovered and streamed by new listeners, that has become part of the global pop music canon. When people study the biggest songs of this era in music history, 7 will be right there in the conversation, and that's a testament to JUNGKOOK's artistry, his appeal, and his ability to create music that resonates across cultures and demographics. The streaming velocity of 7 was also remarkable. The speed at which it accumulated streams, particularly in its first few weeks and months, was comparable to the biggest Western pop releases. Radio play in the United States, which has historically been very resistant to non-English language artists and even to K-pop artists singing in English, was substantial 4/7. The song received significant airplay across multiple formats, which is incredibly rare and shows that the music industry gatekeepers recognized the song's quality and commercial potential. Music critics, who can often be dismissive of pop music generally and K-pop specifically, gave 7 largely positive reviews, praising Jungkook's vocal performance, the song's production, and its commercial appeal. All of these factors combined to create a genuine global phenomenon that transcended just being a K-pop success story and became a mainstream pop music success story. Now let's shift our focus to Jimin and what he accomplished during his solo era, because his achievements are equally impressive and equally important for understanding the power that BTS brings to their upcoming comeback. Jimin made history by becoming the first K-pop solo artist ever to surpass 6.5 billion total streams across his discography on Spotify. Let me repeat that because it's so significant, the first K-pop solo artist ever to reach that milestone. There have been many incredibly successful K-pop solo artists over the years, many talented singers and performers who have had hit songs and successful careers. But none of them had achieved what Jimin achieved in terms of accumulated streaming numbers until he did it. That's not just a personal achievement, that's a landmark moment for K-pop as a genre and for Asian artists in the global music industry. Within that 6.5 billion total, Jimin's song Who from his solo work was leading the charge with 2.25 billion streams. Who demonstrated Jimin's ability to create music that resonated globally while maintaining his artistic identity and showcasing his unique vocal color and emotional delivery. The song's success wasn't built on trying to sound Western or conforming to what Western audiences might expect. It was distinctly Jimin, with all his vocal characteristics and artistic sensibility, and global audiences embraced it enthusiastically. That authenticity combined with universal appeal is exactly what makes BTS and its members so powerful. They're not trying to be something they're not, they're confidently being themselves, and the world responds to that authenticity. What's particularly interesting about Jimin's achievement is that it represents sustained success across multiple releases rather than just one massive hit. While Who was certainly a standout, Jimin's 6.5 billion total streams come from his entire body of work, from his solo albums, his solo songs on BTS albums, his collaborations, his OST contributions, everything. This shows that Jimin has cultivated a dedicated global fan base that doesn't just stream one song, they engage with his entire artistic output. They're invested in Jimin as an artist, not just in individual viral moments. This kind of deep fan engagement and loyalty is incredibly valuable, and it's part of what makes the ARIRANG comeback so anticipated. Fans aren't just excited for new BTS music, they're excited to hear how Jimin's evolved artistry and Jungkook's evolved artistry will combine with the other 5 members in the context of group work. The fact that both Jungkook and Jimin achieved these extraordinary numbers during the same general time period, both operating as solo artists while BTS was on hiatus, is really important to understand. This wasn't a situation where one member had to succeed at the expense of another, or where there was competition for attention and resources. Both of them thrived simultaneously, both achieved historic numbers, both proved their individual star power. This demonstrates something crucial about BTS's dynamic. They're not 7 people fighting over one spotlight, they're 7 people who each generate their own spotlight, and when you put all 7 of those spotlights together, the combined illumination is blinding. The way Jungkook and Jimin both succeeded individually while still supporting each other, still being proud of each other's achievements, still maintaining their brotherhood, that's what makes BTS special, and that's why their reunion is so powerful. Now, why does all of this matter specifically as we approach the ARIRANG comeback in March 2026? There are several crucial reasons that I think are important to understand. First, these solo achievements have silenced any doubts about whether BTS members can maintain relevance and impact during extended periods apart. Some groups go on hiatus, and when they come back, the momentum is gone, the public has moved on, the individual members haven't been able to maintain their profiles. That is absolutely not the case with BTS. Jungkook and Jimin specifically, but really all 7 members, have kept BTS in the global conversation throughout the entire hiatus period through their individual work. When ARIRANG drops on March 20th, it's not going to be a comeback in the sense of trying to recapture lost attention. It's going to be 7 artists who individually command global attention, choosing to combine their powers again. Second, the solo era has allowed each member to explore their individual artistry, to try things they might not try in a group context, to develop new skills and grow as artists. Jungkook got to work with American producers and collaborators, got to explore his R&B and pop influences more fully, got to experience what it's like to carry a project entirely on his own shoulders. Jimin got to showcase his unique vocal color and emotional delivery in ways specifically designed for his strengths, got to explore concepts and sounds that felt personally meaningful to him. All of that individual growth and experience is now going to be brought back to the group context, enriching what BTS can do together. The ARIRANG album is going to benefit from having 7 members who have all leveled up individually during this period. Third, the streaming numbers and chart success that Jungkook and Jimin achieved prove that BTS's fanbase army is still incredibly engaged and active. There was concern in some quarters that during a long hiatus, fans might drift away, might find other artists to stan, might lose interest. The opposite happened. ARMY showed up massively for every member's solo work, streamed enthusiastically, bought albums, attended concerts, and kept the momentum going. This means that when ARIRANG releases, there's a huge, engaged, active fanbase ready to support it immediately. The potential for ARIRANG to break records isn't just theoretical, it's backed up by demonstrated fan enthusiasm and engagement throughout the solo era. Fourth, and this is something I think is really important from an industry perspective, Jungkook and Jimin's success has forced the global music industry to take BTS even more seriously if that's possible. When BTS was succeeding as a group, there was sometimes this attitude of, well, it's the group dynamic, it's the performance, it's the choreography, it's the visual package. But when individual members step out and achieve numbers that rival the biggest Western artists, when Jungkook surpasses Miley Cyrus in streaming, when Jimin becomes the first K-pop solo artist to hit certain milestones, the industry has to recognize that these are genuinely world-class artists with individual talent that would make them successful in any context. That recognition and respect is going to benefit the ARIRANG comeback in terms of playlist placement, radio consideration, media coverage, and industry support. Looking at the specific numbers one more time because I think they're worth emphasizing. 2.76 billion streams for 7, number 69 all-time on Spotify, most streamed song of 2023. 6.5 billion total streams for Jimin, first K-pop solo artist to achieve that, 2.25 billion for who specifically. These aren't just impressive numbers in the K-pop context, these are impressive numbers in any context. These are the kinds of streaming figures that put artists in the conversation with Taylor Swift, Drake, Bad Bunny, The Weeknd, the absolute biggest names in global music. And Jungkook and Jimin achieved these numbers while navigating a music industry and market that isn't their home turf, while working in languages that aren't their native language in Jungkook's case, while dealing with mandatory military service interrupting their momentum. Imagine what they can achieve now that they're back together, with the full force of BTS behind them, with the momentum of successful solo eras, with renewed energy and excitement about working together again. The ARIRANG comeback on March 20th is shaping up to be one of the biggest music events of 2026, and the solo era achievements we've discussed today are a huge part of why expectations are so high. This isn't just nostalgia for a group that used to be big. This is anticipation for what 7 individually proven global superstars can accomplish when they combine their talents again. Jungkook brings everything he learned and achieved with 7 and his solo work. Jimin brings everything he learned and achieved becoming the first K-pop solo artist to hit 6.5 billion streams. And the other 5 members bring their own individual achievements and growth from the solo era. Put all of that together and you have the recipe for something truly historic. So guys, that's why Jungkook and Jimin's Spotify dominance during the solo era proves BTS's power and why it makes the ARIRANG comeback even more exciting. These numbers show that BTS isn't just a group whose success depends on all 7 members being together at all times. They're 7 individually exceptional artists who happen to also have incredible group chemistry. The fact that they succeeded so massively on their own means that their reunion is even more powerful because it's not about need, it's about choice. They're choosing to come back together because they love making music together, because they value what BTS represents, because they want to show the world what 7 global superstars can accomplish as a unit. How excited are you for ARIRANG? What do you think about Jungkook and Jimin's achievements? Let me know in the comments. And if this video got you even more hyped for the comeback, please give it a huge thumbs up, share it with your army friends, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.